Hey there, I am Simone, the Curvy Cook, and today I wanted to show you and tell you how to make gluten-free saltfish fritters. I know, I'm pretty proud of myself. So if you haven't followed me yet on Instagram, you should go follow me, because you'll see all my vacation pics from Jamaica. I just came back from Jamaica and I had so much fun. It was my sister and I who went, and we haven't been in Jamaica for 16 years. I haven't been to Jamaica. I haven't set foot on the island since my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, passed away. And so it was nice to be back in the land of my ancestors, the land of my parents and my grandparents and the ones who came before them. We stayed at the lovely Hyatt Rose Hall, Ziva and Zilara Resort. I was the resident Zumba and Aqua Zumba instructor there, and we had loads of fun. But for me, the main thing that's important to me for vacation is food. I told myself my goal is to eat enough food, get super fat, and just enjoy and love life. The food there was amazing. And coming back, I really am trying to recreate a lot of the foods that we had there and the foods that I grew up eating. The vacation blues hit me and my sister really hard. And so we were like, well, maybe not so much her, but I was like, you know what, how could I recreate a little bit of that so I could kind of carry my vacation into my daily existence and reality? One thing that I had there that I haven't had in years is saltfish fritters. I haven't eaten saltfish fritters for a really long time because saltfish fritters are made using a batter that uses flour. And if you follow me and you know all about me, you know that I stay away from gluten. So I was trying to figure out to myself, well, how can I make saltfish fritters gluten-free? And by George, I think I got it. So today I'm going to show you how I did it. Now, a word on saltfish fritters. What are saltfish fritters? Saltfish fritters are, see my little plate, I'll tilt it down. Saltfish fritters are these little things. They're almost like a crab cake, but it's flattened. It's almost like a salted cod pancake, if you will. So they're called many things. I believe in Trinidad they're called akra. I believe Bajans, my Barbadian people, you also do saltfish fritters. And there's also conch fritters. I don't eat conch. I always grew up and ate saltfish. So saltfish fritters are made from salted cod. And salted cod, you could buy it in stores. I got mine at Independent, which is in the family of stores of Loblaws and what else is in that family? Loblaws. Great Canadian Superstore. In the fish seafood aisle, you could buy it with bone, or you could buy it with skin on. For this, I would strongly recommend you buy the boneless, skinless version. That helps you take out bones. And ain't nobody got time to take out bone or skin the fish. It's really hard to do actually if you buy it dried. And you definitely don't want bones in your fritter. Or as my mom always calls them, fritters, in your fritters, whatever you want to call them. So I bought a little package for about $9.49 of salted cod. Salted cod is salted as a preservation method. I think I remember learning a long time in grade 8 history how the people on the ships who came to Canada would bring salted cod in the Atlantic area. This is also very fuzzy for me. Grade 8 was a long time ago. And so it would be salted and it would preserve the fish. And so with salt fish, yes, salt makes everything taste good, but there's really a lot of salt in the fish. So the first thing that you need to do when you get your saltfish, for this recipe or any recipe, is to soak the saltfish in water. I soak my saltfish in water overnight. That's what I've always seen my mom do. You soak the saltfish in water, you throw off the water, you soak it in some more water overnight and leave it, and then it's ready for you the next morning. You could change the water even more times if you want to get out more salt and you're really concerned about that. I like to keep just enough salt in my saltfish so that it still tastes good. What else do I have to tell you? I think that's it. Let's go through the recipe. So I have the recipe in my pocket. I don't know if this is ghetto to like reach into your pocket and have a Hilroy sheet of paper, but here we go. So what do you need to make ackee and saltfish that are gluten-free? Not ackee and saltfish. Saltfish fritters. Ackee and saltfish is another episode. Saltfish fritters that are gluten-free. You need half a pound of codfish. The amount of codfish that I used, it was a small little package. I used maybe like a handful of codfish. The thing with having the amount of codfish is like, it really is up to taste, right? I like tasting fritters that actually have saltfish. I have gone places where they called it saltfish fritters and I didn't taste one piece of saltfish. So it's really up to you, but I like really do want to actually have the fish in my fritter. You are also going to want, you can put a little bit of ketchup. I put black pepper. Some recipes call for Scotch bonnet peppers. Don't judge me. I personally don't really like spicy food. Scotch bonnet peppers are one of the spiciest peppers in existence. So I just would rather use some cracked black pepper. That works for me. You're going to use 1 cup of rice flour, half a teaspoon of baking powder, 3/4 cup cold water, some green onions, scallions, spring onions, whatever you call it. I used about 3 or 4 stalks chopped up. 1 teaspoon of thyme, dried thyme. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. I added a little bit of salt, even though the saltfish is already salt. 1 egg. And yeah, that's it. So don't worry if you didn't get that all down. I'm going to post the recipe in this video. I'm also going to post the recipe online on my blog, thecurvycook.ca, so look out for it. So, directions. How do you make saltfish fritter? Well, once you have soaked your saltfish, you are going to want to cook it. So, all the ingredients... So all the ingredients that I just mentioned, like, well, namely the tomatoes and the saltfish, I found it better to cook them before adding them to the saltfish fritter batter as opposed to adding them raw. I added them raw, and it's not like it was the end of the world because you are going to fry the fritter, but it wasn't the best. So I would recommend cook up your saltfish with your tomatoes, and then it's good to go. Let that cool. If you do choose to cook the saltfish and the tomatoes, let it cool. Another thing about cooking the tomatoes is it eliminates you having chunks of raw tomato in your fritter. Like, that's not something I personally like. So yeah, that's why I cooked it up. So let it cool. And then you can put all your other ingredients together in a bowl. Mix them in a bowl. So the flour, the egg. I'm the kind of person, I'm really lazy when I do recipes. I'm not really precise. I don't know if I should be like telling you that. But what I mean by that and why you need to know that is like most recipes will say, you know, crack the egg. Beat the egg in its own little bowl. Ain't nobody got time. For me, I'm just like, it's all gonna get mixed up anyway. So crack the egg, put it all up in there in the batter. Add the water. I would add the water a little bit at a time, kind of like if you're making fried dumpling. If you've never made fried dumpling before, I have a video on that too. But I would just add a little at a time. 3/4 of a cup works for the ingredient ratios and proportions I mentioned. But if you're gonna make more, you're gonna have to add more water, and it really, there's no definite in terms of how much water you need to add. The key is to have a batter, well, that looks like a batter. You don't want a runny batter. You want something the consistency of like a pancake batter, really. except you're going to have like lumps of tomato and saltfish. So you prepare your batter. Then you want to get some oil. I use coconut oil. You want to get some oil. You want to grease your pan, put oil in the pan, let it get warm. And then just like you would be making pancakes, you want to pour the little scoops, make little scoops, little splotches of batter in your pan. And again, it's really, really honestly just like making pancakes. You wait for the edges to crust and get brown. That tells you that it's probably getting cooked underneath. And then when that happens and when you start to see little bubbles and little pockets, you flip them. You flip them over to the other side. You let the other side cook. Once the other side is cooked, you want to have a plate nearby to drain these things. So like a plate, and I just put a piece of paper towel over, and you over the plate, on top of the plate, and then you put your saltfish fritters there to drain. So you can get out some of the oil. Saltfish fritters are best served right away. They're best served as they are cooked. However, they're one of those things that actually taste good and sometimes even better the next day. So I literally have been snacking on fritters all day today, cold, just out of the fridge. And I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure they freeze well as well. Saltfish fritters are best eaten just like that by themselves. You would have saltfish fritter in the morning. In a Jamaican household, you might have saltfish fritter for breakfast. You might have ackee and saltfish for breakfast. You might have fried dumpling for breakfast. So it's one of those many accompanying, that's a word I can never say, accompanying foods that you can have with your breakfast. So I'm actually going to have it for supper because I don't care. And so what I have here, what I decided to do, I have my 2 fritters. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. I don't have that high-tech camera where I could see myself talking. But this is my meal, my humble meal, my humble Jamaican, reminiscent of Jamaican meal. So you'll see here I have my 2 saltfish fritter. I have some fried plantain, and then I have some curry cabbage with some other vegetables. And fried plantain, maybe I'll do a video on fried plantain another time. But what I'm going to do with these fried plantain is I'm going to take some coconut nectar. I think you can use agave. I'm going to use a little bit of lime and drizzle that over the plantain. Or you could sprinkle like some salt, or you can use ketchup. When I was growing up, I put ketchup on everything. I put ketchup on my fried dumpling. I put ketchup on my fried plantain. So you could put ketchup. And yeah, this is what you would typically have for breakfast, but I'm eating it for dinner. And there you have it. Fritters. I don't know, do you want me to hold up a fritter and so that you can look at it? Do you see my beautiful fritter? Isn't she lovely? Isn't she lovely? Okay, so my beautiful fritter. This is what it looks like. And yeah, it tastes amazing. I am very proud of myself. So that's it. There you have it. Saltfish fritters that are gluten-free. This is so exciting. I love it when I'm able to create ethnic food that fits my special diet. I'm hoping in another video that I'll be able to make paleo saltfish fritters. And I have to experiment, get back in the kitchen to figure that out. For my vegan people, before my vegan people, how would you make a gluten-free vegan saltfish fritter? Well, you wouldn't obviously use saltfish. You wouldn't obviously use egg. I haven't tried to make a gluten-free vegan saltfish fritter, but off the top of my head, you may or may not need egg as a binder. If you find that you do need a binder, you could use egg replacement. I wouldn't use a chia egg or a flax egg because that would ruin the integrity of the recipe. And instead of codfish, you could use tofu fish. So you might be asking me, what in the world is tofu fish? Where can I get that? That's a whole other story. That's a whole other recipe. That's a whole other video. But yeah, once I show you that recipe, you can easily add it into your batter so you can make full saltfish fritters. I think that's all I have to tell you. Hopefully that was a helpful video. I would love to hear what you think. When do you eat your saltfish fritters? Have you ever eaten saltfish fritters? What is your favorite saltfish fritter memory? I would love to know. Feel free to comment below. Check out the link to the recipe. The link to the recipe will also be below. I'm going to also try to have it maybe as an annotation in this video. And of course, if you have any questions about saltfish fritters, Jamaica, teaching vacations, whatever the case may be, or even if when you're cooking, you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm doing this right, shoot me an email. I'll see if I can help. Okay? So hopefully you had fun watching that video, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Goodbye.